What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is November 28th of 2022. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's video, I want to go over one key chart that I think many people aren't aware of that gives us some really good context into just how painful this bear market really can be, and how far we still have to go before we're likely to set in a low for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And outside of that as well, we've got a really interesting interview with Mysterium VPN, which is one of the major crypto projects out there building decentralized VPN and web-based technology. So stay tuned for that. You guys won't want to miss it. All right, so let's go ahead and kick off the conversation here. Now, while there's a lot of value analyzing Bitcoin's chart and taking a look at the daily, the weekly, the monthly time frames, which generally show us that we're in a general downtrend, I think there's another chart that is incredibly valuable to come to from time to time. And it's not one that you can easily just search up. You have to type in a couple different values, and I'll show you guys how you can actually do it throughout here in the video. Now, the chart we're going to be looking at today is the total market capitalization minus the market cap of USDC as well as Tether. Those are the two leading stablecoins out there in the market. Now, I understand as much as the next person, you could also maybe remove Binance USD or maybe some of the other alternative decentralized stablecoins like DAI. Generally speaking, though, these are where the majority of dollar-based liquidity is. And if you guys want to make it a little bit more specific and add those, you can do that as well. But generally speaking, we're taking one of the total market cap metrics that really takes the entire market capitalization of all crypto and removing that stablecoin liquidity. Now, I think that this is a very important thing to do because it's important to not only negate the artificial increase in market cap from dollars, those are basically IOUs for real dollars, or in the case of Tether, I think they've had treasuries and other types of assets. But generally speaking, right, no matter if you guys believe that there are those stablecoins backing those or not, main thing I want to focus on here is that we remove that from the valuation. We really focus on where crypto valuations are at the moment. And I think this is going to give us a lot of really interesting insight into just how far we have to go before we've really set in a bottom in the market. Now, when we take a look at total market cap minus that stablecoin liquidity, there's a really interesting finding that I think is very critical to keep in mind. If we simply turn on our drawings here, I've highlighted two key things here. The downturn from the 2018 bear market to the 2017 bull run, and the decline we've had so far during the November 2021 and beyond bear market. Now, I just want you to look at this chart here and take a look at these percentages, because I understand some people will jump to the conclusion and say, well, you know, Nick, look, you've even said it yourself here on the channel, you're not one focused on picking the absolute bottom. You want to get a nice discount. We're at 75% down. Not too far off from 85% or 88% like we saw in the last bear market, right? Isn't it time to buy the dip? Today, I want to spend some time to emphasize a very critical lesson that unfortunately most traders, ironically enough, the vast majority of traders out there do not understand. And that is the dynamics of percentage declines from top to bottom, and just how big of a difference we can see price going from, say, a 75% decline from top to bottom, say down to an 88%. Now, again, everyone's going to have different opinions here. I've heard various different arguments in every direction, but generally speaking, I try to find myself in the middle. While I am very pessimistic on the macro perspective, inflation is usually a multi-year problem once it starts, and it can have a weighing effect on equities and crypto, and we've really never lived through something like this, and we haven't been through a real bear market for crypto. We've been in a 10-year secular bull run, in my opinion, right? That's at least the way I'm analyzing it here. But putting that aside and also not being too optimistic, I want to find myself in the middle and say that let's just go ahead and assume we're going to have a typical bear market, because this is not just what happened here in 2018. If we go back through history, we've also had other harsh bear market corrections. From top to bottom here, an 80% decline in market valuations, right? So this is very typical within bear markets for cryptocurrencies. And we can see that it's not getting weaker over time when we consider overall valuations, as the altcoin market, which is more volatile, has grown up to make larger market share. So let's just say hypothetically, let's meet in the middle here. What if we were to decline down towards, say, 84%, meet in the middle between the two previous bear market declines. There's no guarantee of it, but I just want to use it as a mental model, right? So let's go ahead and just kind of drag it out here. And that would take us down towards an overall market capitalization from where we're at right now at around $707 billion, taking us all the way down to $450 billion. In real material terms, from where we are, that's roughly speaking another 36 to 37% price decline. Doesn't sound so close to an 88% correction or 80% correction anymore, does it? Or at least what we would perceive it to be. This basically means that if you were to buy Bitcoin at this range, you're paying a major premium comparative to what you could get if you remain patient and wait for either one of two things, either lower price levels where things are at a much better risk to reward profile, or you wait for the signs of higher lows and higher highs. You wait for long-term consolidation. If we analyze any of the previous bear markets, we will see there are pockets of time where price had to capitulate sideways or consolidate sideways, right? We saw that especially here during a very similar period, the restructuring bear market where Mt. Gox, the largest crypto exchange back in 2014, not only filed for bankruptcy, but was hacked and completely left distrust in the industry. There was no real solid foundation to trade liquid Bitcoin before Mt. Gox. It was one of the major exchanges alongside Bitstamp and Bitfinex. So these players here really shaped the industry. And when they fell, similar to FTX, similar to Celsius, all these players, it leaves us in a period where we not only have exacerbated declines, much further than what most people expect there to be, but on top of that, those consolidative periods that usually last a while and give us an opportunity to really wait and see, is the market here setting a foundation and setting up the stage to be able to return higher? That's the only question we should be asking. And if we aren't there yet, and if we aren't certain of that, then we need to remain patient. And I think with the recent dip here from FTX, as we've seen through previous bear market relief rallies and therefore follow-up sell-offs, we see that this is yet again another step in the domino effect of consolidation, of further capitulation and contagion within the crypto industry, irrespective of what's going on in the macro world. So again, I think that setting in this kind of target here of around 84%, roughly speaking, is a good mental target here. Trying to meet in the middle, being rational, and just again, seeing that history tells us it can get a lot worse. And to not negate those slight differences that most people just simply don't understand. That's what we try to focus here on the channel, guys. But now we look beyond this as well. We can also take a look at the market structure beyond price, because I'm not only looking at how price or market valuations are acting, I'm looking at market order flow. And I gotta tell you guys, when I take a look at our partner tool Bookmap here, which is actually analyzing the heat map, which is the bids and the asks on the order book to try to spot where institutions are, in the sense of maybe potential buyer, sell resistance or support within the order book that could help Bitcoin's price lead in a certain direction, as well as the cumulative volume delta. I see nothing that makes me optimistic here. I see a completely negative cumulative volume delta, nearly down minus 10,000 points here for the week. Again, another red week of continuous capitulation. We've been seeing this week after week after week across the major exchanges. And the cool thing about Bookmap here, what we're utilizing here is multi-book. So it's analyzing the order books across all the major exchanges, the market order flow between major exchanges like Binance and Huobi, really giving us a good idea as to whether or not people are selling or buying. And really, to find a bottom here, we need to see multiple weeks of upward trend. So again, this is a really cool tool here, guys. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Bookmap down below in the description. It's a really interesting tool. And it's, again, one of the things we're using here to hopefully eventually spot a bottom. So that's a key thing to keep in mind when we're going about picking bottoms or trying to find some kind of bottom in the market. Again, we're much more focused on seeing the signs of a trend reversal and more specifically consolidation. But I think we are far away from that at a minimum. And that's to say, if we have what's usually in line with what we'd expect for a bear market, what if it gets worse? Are you positioned in a way where we go down 88% like the last bear market, down to a market cap of $340 billion? Can you stomach that? Do you have the cash on standby to buy the dip, to average in, or build new positions? It's a question everyone needs to ask themselves. But that being said, everyone, let's go ahead and dive into this interview with Mysterium Network. It's a really exciting conversation where we're going to be talking about decentralized VPN technology, probably one of the more interesting use cases in crypto outside of DeFi and Web3. And if you like the interview or if you like this core part of the content, drop a like. So let's go ahead and kick off the interview. All right, everyone. So in today's sponsored interview, I'm sitting down with a longtime partner project of ours. I've gotten to follow the Mysterium team for a long period of time. I'm here with Donatas today, who is the head of Mysterium, helping to push forward decentralized virtual private network technology, or VPN technology. You probably heard about NordVPN, ExpressVPN, all the content creators out there talking about VPNs and how they offer you an ability not only to have more privacy on the web, but also have broader access to services and content, which I think is very important and in line with our vision of decentralization in crypto. So Donatas, thank you so much for making the time, and I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm really excited to tell more about Mysterium, where we are going. Yeah, let's just start.
Awesome, man. One thing I wanted to share real quick, just for those of you who are watching here, I wanted to get to know a little bit about yourself, Donatas, because I've talked to Savannah and many of the team members over the years. I've been following you guys since 2017, and it's always nice to see the projects that continue to build during the bear markets and keep going. One thing I wanted to share real quick is that many people might not notice, but even though the connection is incredibly clear, we're doing a call right now, we're actually on the Mysterium network. So right now I'm connected towards a node in Germany at the moment. And this is how I'm actually speaking to Donatas. So I'm actually not conveying this data and information from my IP, but rather from another one. So I'm not only having privacy, but on top of that as well, I'm able to still maintain a really solid connection. I'm deducting missed tokens at the moment. So there's a clear utility purpose to the token. And you can see all the major statistics here on the left-hand side, how much I paid out, the duration I've been connected, how much information I've received and also sent off over the Zoom call. So this is really cool stuff. Donatas, I wanted to let you kind of take it away. Talk a little bit about yourself, your background. You've worked at a lot of major companies. I think if I saw you worked at Adform, AppNexus, Danske Bank, like a lot of big companies throughout Europe. So I'd love to hear about your journey and a little bit about Mysterium's vision long term.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for this introduction about our VPN. And yeah, I mean, just one important thing quickly to mention, you connected to the node in Germany, and with the payment, it means that you're actually paying directly to that node runner. So it's not some intermediary in between, but yeah, it's a direct payment, direct connection. And yeah, anyway, we'll talk about this more later. So a bit about me. As you mentioned, I'm proud to be now head of Mysterium. It's almost 1 year I'm in this position. So it took some time for me to join Mysterium. Mysterium is around for a bit longer time. But yeah, talking about me, during my career, as you mentioned, I worked in a few different domains, from ad tech, so advertising technologies, to banking and retail. And it was always with some online products. Now I'm at Mysterium. And the thing is that I always been big advocate for open internet. Working at smaller and bigger companies, you see how the internet is progressing, and it's not always progressing to the in
the right direction.
The right direction. That's correct. And then I mean, I think that, well, internet traffic should be treated without discrimination. I mean, it should be open. Internet should be open. Shouldn't be censorship. Shouldn't be any throttling, prioritization, things we see now happening with, especially with big tech. Maybe, I mean, this downturn in the whole economy will help to, to reestablish the ground, and then that we could actually start all over again. And that's why we have Mysterium here. So I'm really proud that I'm in Mysterium, and Mysterium was actually founded in 2017. I had a couple of my friends working there from almost beginning. So yeah, it took a couple of years for me to join the company, but yeah, I'm finally here, and I'm really happy to try to make these things right, and actually to be advocate for internet, not just a user, but also one who is building and having a great team to help me to do that.
I was gonna say, Donatas, like definitely wanted to talk what you mentioned earlier about like the market sentiment. I want to dive into that, but again, really, I think you guys have a lot of accolades. One, having yourself heading the project, I think, is a very exciting thing about Mysterium. You've got good leadership on the team. I've gotten also to know as well some of the advisors, Charmini as well, and people who have also helped participate in the project for a long time. And outside of that, what I think is really exciting, as you mentioned, you've been around since 2017. So this is not some, riding the hype as most of crypto is, some short-term wave. You guys have really built something substantial. We're using it right now. It's providing value. And I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about this because there's really two major things going on right now. Obviously, we're in a crypto bear market. It's a time where a lot of projects came and a lot of projects went. There's not much development going on right now, at least compared to what we had before in the general space. And on top of that as well, we've got a really concerned macro sentiment across the world. Global economies right now are in a recession. We've got huge geopolitical tensions right now. And it's not just in one pocket. I mean, I was even talking to Savannah the other day. You got the protests in Iran, you've got the war going on. You have so many different things where governments are now focusing in a lot more on content and communication and censoring that. And this, again, as you mentioned, steps back on the whole belief of what the web was founded on, which is this open communication. It's exactly what crypto stands on. So I can send money to you. I can pay for the services I want, censorship resistance. So I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about, for Mysterium as an application, you guys have been seeing, rather than negative growth, I think you've been either keeping afloat during this bear market or even growing quite exponentially, at least over the past year. So what are the metrics looking like for you guys right now?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe I'll just quickly talk a bit. I mean, how it looked like for Mysterium when we started, and like what product we built, and how it looks right now. So as mentioned before, Mysterium started in 2017, and from the very beginning, the main goal was to make internet blind to borders. So to make sure that everyone has equal access to the internet. And then, of course, there are some existing solutions for that. But then the main thing, how Mysterium tried to be different and how it is different right now, it's that we fight censorship on infrastructure level. So our infrastructure and architecture is somewhat similar to Tor. We have permissionless exit node network based on blockchain, so anybody can join and run node from their home connection. And the big difference between us and Tor, who is also helping communities, that we also have built-in peer-to-peer payments model on Polygon. So the thing I just mentioned in the very beginning, when you connect it to the node in Germany, it means that consumers are paying directly to the providers, and the payments are done in our native currency MIST. So it's a one and only native network's currency, and it's just a direct payment for providing these services. So this application, it went a long way, and then just in the end of last year, we launched mainnet. So we went on the mainnet on Polygon, and since when, as you correctly mentioned, we saw a huge growth, and its growth not just in terms of VPN app usage is just one of the products we are making, but then we're also seeing the interest from the B2B partners, business to business. We're also seeing interest from builders, so those who want to build their own apps on Mysterium, and of course the Mysterium app itself. As you correctly mentioned, now geopolitical situation, the world, it's really tough. I mean, there are a lot of protests going. Let's say in Iran, there's a war going right in the middle of Europe, which is terrible. But then again, VPN can help here. And then, yeah, it's just some crazy things going all around. But then the really nice thing is that community kind of comes together, and then they support such solutions. So on one side, we have a huge community of nodes who are supplying this service. And then there is even bigger community of users who really need this service. So we're both happy with our growth this year, despite the bear market. And also we are really happy that we can actually help
Yeah.
to those people.
And you were mentioning Dante, so like I think I heard like, or I was looking at the Node Explorer, and if I remember last time we did an interview actually around this time last year, and I think the metrics back then were around 6,000 nodes, and now you guys are pressing on like 11, 12,000. So the nodes on the network have almost practically doubled during that period of time, which is massive. That's further decentralization. You've also, as you mentioned, gotten some business partnerships. So if I understand it correctly, let's say, for example, I don't want to mention any particular names, but if you had like, kind of a streamlined VPN service that someone might be buying, you guys would kind of service maybe as an API or tool set for these providers to offer a more decentralized version. So maybe I don't want to port say into one facility in Germany, but now you're basically connecting to a specific IP that could be run by an individual, could be run by a smaller organization. So there's more predictability and less, I guess, in a sense, more privacy for me as an end user.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not going through any intermediary server. You're connecting directly to that
Directly.
user who is serving its own connection. And yeah, you're right. Like last year, just before launching or just after launching the mainnet, we had around 6,000 nodes. Now we have close to 14,000 nodes. And the even more important thing, they're spread through 135 countries. So if you think about that, that's probably like almost 70% of the whole world. And then you can choose you can actually choose to go to internet basically through any country in the world. I mean, usually, of course, you would go through the country which you need, and just depending on your use case. But then, yeah, you can be actually at home being anywhere in the world. So I know, let's say, for example, you are living in Prague, and then if you want to be in Prague while being, I know, in Spain, you can easily do that. Just
Yeah,
choose the node
exactly.
from Czech Republic, and yeah, that's it. You're there. And then one really nice achievement which we did this year in terms of the network traffic, and that's why also our node runners they're happy about this. We hit 1 petabyte in the network traffic. Before we have been counting in terabytes. Now it's in petabytes. Hopefully it goes somewhere to, I know, hundreds of petabytes. Now
That's
it's a bit over
insane.
1 petabyte, but yeah, it's growing really fast, and that's really nice. I mean, this B2B services we introduced, where we're also helping other VPN companies to get the value of this decentralized node network we built. That's also working really well, and it's not just for them. It's working really well to our node runners, for whom it's a nice source of passive income.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think that's important to understand, as you mentioned, as like a difference from, say, traditional privacy networks like Tor, is that with Mist as this kind of utility token within the network, and also staking capabilities and operating a node and facilitating that bandwidth for people, I think that there's something really exciting here, which is that this is a perfect product market fit, in my opinion. It's why I really liked Mist back in 2017, and I still do to this day, that like you have this core use and earn capabilities. So like I need, for example, to access bandwidth, so I pay in the form of Mist. And there's also some other options where you can pay with Bitcoin or ETH, or maybe like with a debit card. So it's really user friendly. But at the end of the day, like Mist is fueling this network, it's fueling the nodes operating those services, and people can operate it as a service. So it's not dependent on some big, server farms or major corporations to operate these VPNs, but someone with their computer and a really nice internet connection can go out there and operate a node and start earning that income, which I think is it's so cool. Like that for me is one of the few real use cases I've seen in crypto outside of payments and store of value to be able to actually earn income. And I think one thing that Donatas, you were hitting on that's so true is that like, I always, and I think of course it's applicable, right? That like a VPN can be used to access, for example, like a very practical way you could use something like Mysterium is being, let's say, in a country in Europe, and you want to access a piece of content on Netflix, right? Something that's not available in your country. That's the way that it usually gets advertised. But I think the bigger use case here, and the more in demand right now in this volatile world, is censorship resistant communication. And as you mentioned, I think it's essential to the internet long term. It's going to become more and more of a predatory concern as the internet continues to maintain such centralized infrastructure. So we have to decentralize money, we have to decentralize speech, and we got to do it quickly. It's a real, like, it's a real need for us right now in the world. But I'm curious, like, I guess what's kind of like the long-term roadmap for Mysterium? Like, where do you guys want to take things from here, say over the next couple of years? I guess off of some of the topics you mentioned earlier.
Sure. So one of the bigger topics is that we want to, and we are already reworking our VPN apps. I mean, this technology we built with the peer-to-peer connection during these years we have been operating, and especially during this current year, we learned about a lot of things we could improve, and we actually decided to rework it almost completely. I mean, keeping the core network intact, so nothing changes with the node network, but then to rework our VPN apps, and that's a huge thing. During the hopefully Q1 of next year, we'll be launching new apps, and then finally we'll be supporting Apple devices, so iOS and let's say iPads or iPhones and MacBooks. We have been already supporting, but with iOS restrictions because of this peer-to-peer mode, we had some difficulties. Now we'll be able to do that. It will be new design, easier to use. It will have subscription. Finally, if somebody doesn't want to go pay as you go as currently. So that's one really big thing for us to work on these new apps to launch those. We're also improving our B2B products. That's also a big thing for us. Initially, when we started in 2017, we didn't think that one of our directions or one of our products will be serving business customers, but now we see that there is demand, and some of them, they're serving really similar thing to the world or to the communities. They're also opening access to the internet, and we are happy to help them. I mean, we have the big network. We want to share it. We just don't want to keep it just for ourselves, and that also serves this B2B use case. So we want to expand solution there. We want to expand our capabilities both in terms of infrastructure, in terms of how many nodes we can handle at the same time, how many users, how many clients. So scaling the network, that's a big thing for sure. And of course, building some even more user-friendly products for our business clients. Third big thing is we want to introduce new tokenomics. We have been testing a few different models during this year and during the past year. And we're also learning some good insights. We already have the delegation pool beta running currently, where everyone can stake their MIST. And then the rewards are paid from the network fees, which are being collected based on the network usage. So there is no artificial rewards where in the last cycle, we saw so many examples where the rewards are just paid from other people's money brought to that pool, while here it's based on the real usage. If the network is used, if the network usage is growing, the network fees are growing, and then it means it's more rewards for the MIST token holder. So I mean, the main idea about tokenomics is to make sure that we can share this value the network creates. We're not seeing Mysterium network as like the only stakeholder of the network. It's everyone who has MIST tokens. It's every node which is in the network, and it's everyone who contributes to the network. So we want everyone to get that value, and that's why we're also thinking how to improve tokenomics. So we'll have some bigger things next year for sure. So I would say these are three main things: focusing on VPN apps, focusing on our B2B clients, and then also focusing on tokenomics.
One thing I wanted to highlight that you said, Donatas, and I think this plays even into the tokenomics as well. You guys have taken a very kind of slow and steady approach. You're not chasing every single hype in the market. You know what you're building, the product market fit for it. And I think what's so great about that is that Mysterium, as you mentioned, is not so much like this one utility token protocol or something, but you guys are building an infrastructure play. And as you said, people could go out and white label Mysterium, essentially. They could go out and build customized consumer-facing products. that are going to get this out there in front of people. They may not even know they're using a more decentralized architecture. And I think that that's really awesome. Like Mysterium is itself censorship resistant, it's open, and people can tap into it. And I think that's why a lot of businesses, they see no problem in implementing it, you know, to offer more features for people who would want to know that using a more decentralized format, or even just building entirely new products without having to build the infrastructure for VPNs. I never really, to be honest, I never thought about the latter there, which is that you could streamline building a VPN product by just tapping into Mysterium. It's already there. And it's the most decentralized architecture probably out there on the market. So that's really exciting. I mean, that would be very cool if you guys are essentially setting the standard here. And on top of that as well, for the staking, the delegation, I heard from talking to Savannah that there's been a lot of traction there. I mean, like was it either like a couple million MIST tokens already staked?
Almost.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not yet at 2 million, but yeah, it's almost 1.8 million tokens
Exactly.
stake.
Yeah.
And another important thing is that we don't have endless supply of tokens. I
Right.
mean, all the tokens we issued in 2017, that's how much we have. We cannot print new MIST tokens. So that's considerable amount of tokens already
Right.
staked in the delegation pool. And we really appreciate that. It means that there are a lot of users who are holding MIST. They're not selling them. And that's also an important thing for our node runners. They're running the node, they're getting paid in MIST, and then of course they're free just to go to any of exchanges which supporting MIST and sell them for USDT, USDC, or just fiat, and then just cash out. But then we see that a lot of those users are probably staking those in the delegation pool, and they're just earning rewards on the based on network growth, which is nice. I mean, that's our goal. We want MIST token to be used and used in the network, staked in the delegation pool, so has the full cycle of tokenomics.
Yeah, I like that idea and stuff, that again, you have the flexibility, but at the same time, like you said, with people who maybe like Bitcoin miners, some go out there and they'll sell to cover their mining costs. But many people really can operate a pretty low cost setup if they're really into it. I would assume some of the bigger node operators on MIST are very efficient with how they run their systems, and they feed a lot of information and data for clients. And you can see that some people are making a couple, 10 or 100 MIST per day, and they're just setting that aside, like they're not selling it. And I think that that's really cool. That tells you you've got people who are passionate about it, and they see then in the 5-10 year horizon that what they're servicing is going to be more valuable in the next coming years. And that has to do with MIST. It has to do with the network itself. There'll be more users, more demand for bandwidth and throughput. So I got to say, Donatas, like, I think you guys are working on something really exciting. I always love coming back to Mysterium because I originally have been very focused on DeFi over the past year or so. And I think that one of the big things that is going to help DeFi propel forward is tools like Mysterium. Like, if you want to have censorship resistant money, if you want to have censorship resistant finance or NFTs or any kind of use case, I think it's always going to tie back to a censorship resistant web and being able to interact with the protocols and ideas we want to. So really, I think you guys are doing wonderful. But if people wanted to like get access to Mysterium, I'll leave a link, of course, down below in the description for anything we talk about here, guys. But are there any places, Donatas, do you think people should really go to that would be valuable for you, like to just kind of learn about Mysterium, or maybe kind of dip your toes in and try the platform out?
Sure. I mean, I could actually do a quick demo of our
Yeah, for sure.
node network website, and I mean how it works, how you can actually start the node just in a few clicks. So let me just share my screen. Let me just find, yeah. All right. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's showing up here.
All right. So that's mistnodes.com. That's the website dedicated to our node runners. And that's basically where you can find all the information, everything what you need to start running the node. It's really simple. You can also read about some and like get information on some statistics. For example, we have the leaderboard here. We can see that someone earned over 1,000 MIST in the last 30 days. Then the second biggest was 640. You can also go to the leaderboard, check more detailed results on, let's say, we take 100 rows. So we had top 100 node runners. If you are not sure about your country, I mean, how your country is demanded, you can always go to earnings click, let's say, for example, you are from Germany, as now you're connected in Germany. So we can see that in average, node is earning 25 missed per month per 30 days in Germany. Of course, every different country is different, and the main thing is how that country is demanded in terms of VPN connections. Let's say how many streaming services there are, how many other restricted things are. So, of course, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Canada, India, Australia, they're
The Netflix
mostly demand.
countries.
That's one thing, but like for example, now we have World Cup, so all the football games
That's
going on.
true. I
So
didn't think
and
about that. Yeah, the
I
World
mean,
Cup.
everyone thinks that Netflix is number one, but then we are seeing so many different streaming services, or like sports streaming websites, and not even that. There are some social media which is blocked in other
Oh,
countries.
yeah.
There are websites which are blocked in different countries. So there is so much of this, almost hidden censorship. Well, if you live in Europe, you usually don't even think about it. But then if you're
Yeah.
based somewhere else, it's just wow, it can be so censored. So yeah.
It's amazing for you guys, like, usually for like a product, like you usually think you have one target audience you're going for, but censorship is a pretty global issue. If you're not facing censorship, you're living in the minority, I think. And I think what's so interesting, like I was talking to Savannah the other day, and she was just explaining how sometimes out of nowhere you'll see a huge spike of users, on the network from certain
Mhm.
jurisdictions, and it's like, where are these people coming from? And it tells a story about what's going on, or like what people are excited about or want to connect about. And I think that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. For example, in UK, we have quite a big demand, and as you could see, like here, average node is earning 100 missed per month, which is pretty
Wow.
decent amount. And yeah, let's look how just to start the node. So if you come to missnodes.com, just go to onboarding, and here you could see the devices we're supporting. So basically, we're supporting any standard laptop or PCs like Windows, Mac OS, Linux. You can also run it on Raspberry Pi. So you have Raspberry Pi just laying in your drawer. Just take it. We have the software. You just need to flash the SD card and put it into Raspberry Pi, and that's it. You just start it. And then, we're also supporting some dedicated devices. So we have partners as Dapnode or Avado building their own devices, where you can also run Mysterium in parallel with other mining software. So we also had really good relationship with these guys, and then we are working on more partnerships. But in general, you can start running Node almost anywhere you want, and then also in data centers. But then let me just quickly show how it works if now I'm on MacBook. So I'll just click Mac OS here. There are some simple instructions. So I can choose from two things. I can download Mac OS installer, or I can set up manually using Docker.
Docker. Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm using Docker right now. So it's just one command you need to run in the terminal. So let me just quickly do it. Yeah, it should be started. And basically, how it works, you copy paste this command, run in the terminal, it downloads the image of Mysterium node, starts with Docker container, and it's running. So the next thing, what you need to do is to claim the node. So basically to show that, okay, I started the node in my local network, and now I want to add it to my account on Mistnodes. So I click claim node, and it's now looking for the node in my local network. Okay, it's found it. And now I just need to do a quick setup, and then we should be good to go. You're still seeing my screen, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
open the new tab. Yeah. So now I'm starting the node setup. I just need to put the password, which I will use to log to it later. So just let me put some password, agree to terms and conditions. Then one important thing is every node, as mentioned before, it's running on blockchain. So you also have to pay this small fee of registration on blockchain. Why you have to pay it? I mean, some users would ask, okay, so why do you have to pay it? One thing is it's a really small fee. You can use our MIST tokens, or if you don't have MIST tokens, you can just pay $1. But why it's needed? It's needed because we don't want somebody just DDoSing the network and trying to onboard as many nodes as possible. So if you're serious about your intentions and you will earn that 0.07 MIST, I don't know, in just probably 1 hour or so, even less. So yeah, I choose that. I just need to transfer it. So let me just do that. So we actually go the full way. Let me just find my MetaMask, and I'll just do that. So I'll just be sending tokens. All right, I got my 0.07 MIST. I just need to put the address where I want to get payments. And maybe one, again, important thing here, I'm putting my wallet address, and then how it works with withdrawals, they're automatic. So for the users, they just start running the node, and every 5 MIST they earn,
they get withdrawn out.
Withdrawal, yeah, is just automatic to their wallet. Anyway, if they want to withdraw, let's say if they collected 1 MIST, they already want to withdraw, they can do it. No issue. Nice. They just need to do that manually. So we don't have any minimum withdrawal. It's all on the blockchain. All the tokens you earn, anytime you can just get to your own wallet. And yeah, I'm finishing now. It's just registering on the blockchain. It again takes some time. It's a blockchain. It's a fast blockchain. Polygon. We're actually really happy with Polygon. And how fast it is, and then how fees are low. So for us, it worked really well. Now it's a year. It was actually the anniversary of our mainnet launch just this week. So no bigger issues. Yeah, we're happy.
That's incredible. Donatas, that's awesome that you've been able to showcase. I think again the micropayments play quite well into that with Polygon, and then again you can withdraw from Polygon and stuff if you want to take it to the mainnet. But Donatas, this is awesome, man. Yeah, again I'll leave a link down below in the description if you guys want to go ahead and set up a node just like Donatas did and see some of the metrics. But again, the work you guys are doing here, man, is absolutely incredible. So
yeah, and then maybe you can see here that's the nodes list. So all the nodes which are run by you. So that's my personal account. Most of these nodes are just for the testing purposes. But in general, if you're running, for example, let's just see, yeah, so my node, which I just started, so now it became online because the registration finished. And now I have the brand new UI ready to share my internet connection. So here it's online. You can see my IP, and then all the information about the node. It's run on Docker, the version of the node, and then I can also see all the other nodes I have. They're now offline. You can also see when the last time it was seen. So for example, we have been running the node. You come here and you see, oh, my node is offline. You can see when it was online the last time. Anyway, we also have the email notifications. So if something happens, I don't know, maybe internet connection drops, maybe some new router, some configuration changes. So nice. You're always aware that something is not right, and then you can just double check what's going on with your node. And then anyway, if you need help, and if you're not sure what to do, maybe node is not working, maybe users are not able to connect it, maybe the test failed, you can always reach to our support team. So we have this help center here, which is docs.mysterium.network. We have lots of different articles here on how to troubleshoot, how to do one another thing, how to get MIST, how to withdraw, what to do if your node is not working. If all of this is not working, just message us on Telegram, on Discord. Our awesome support team will help you. But yeah, that's, I think, basically what we wanted to show in terms of the MIST Nodes website. It's really easy to start the node. It's just a few minutes. You start that, and then you can actually just forget about it and just see that some MIST tokens are deposited to your wallet from time to time.
I love it, man. It's amazing how within the call here we were able to just showcase the entire process of pretty much getting everything set up. I mean, it's the client as well. If you're just to use it for yourself, like to consume Mist and be able to utilize it as a VPN or to be a node. I mean, are extremely smooth. I would think that it like, in a lot of kind of like node operating services and blockchains, I need like someone to assist me. It takes hours. I've got to bring up like the Windows shell prompt, like to basically type in things. To be able to have like a clean UI like this and be able to set up a node is just phenomenal, man. Like really from a project management side or product management side, the design is beautiful. Whole user experience feels really nice.
Yeah, thanks for feedback. Really good to hear that.
Awesome. So if you guys
All
are
right.
interested in kind of checking things out, whether you want to be a node operator or just simply use the VPN service itself or utilize one of other products from made from Mysterium, they've got a whole library of different products and services I know you guys are working on. I know there's even a labs division that's working on some really cool innovations and exciting things that could help build into the Mysterium ecosystem. But Donatas, I mean, this is phenomenal. Like I said, I'll leave the links down below, guys, so you guys can check it out. Thank you for taking the time, man. I know you guys are busy. You guys are growing like wildfire right now. And I'm really excited to see where you guys go. And we'll have to have you back on the channel again in the future.
And maybe one quick thing
Yeah.
just before ending this, just to mention on Monday we have the trading competition
Oh, that's
on
right.
MXC, the exchange we just got listed this summer. So now we'll have the trading competition there, and we'll have almost 100,000 Mist tokens ready to be given away as rewards to those who participate. So make sure you check MXC. It starts on Monday. We'll go for some time, and then you can definitely get your share of that almost 100 tokens, so 96,000 of Mist tokens.
If you need if you need some Mist to start a node, that might be a good place to start, man. Yeah. No, or maybe multiple nodes and stuff. If you can really win in the competition, you can run a lot then. But awesome, Donatas. Thank you so much. Again, I'll leave links down below in the description, guys, if you guys want to check out any of that material. Again, congrats to you and the team, man. I'm so happy to see you guys are growing. And again, I think it speaks to the fact that Mysterium isn't really focused so much on the market, but you guys are focused on building something real. So keep at it, man. We need this technology. So thank you for making the time, Donatas.
All right. Thanks, Nicholas, for having me. And yeah, have a good weekend.
Same with you.